Hello everyone, I am Virginia Elena Patrone and this is the 12th episode of Inspiration Talks. This is the first time that we do in English because tonight we have a very dear guest, a very dear friend to me, Nicole Katzender. Now I invite her. This task always requires some time, but Nicole is here, ready under the sun.
Hi, my dear.
Hello.
Hello.
It is so nice to see you. So
Yes.
shiny.
Yes.
And
So nice to
beautiful.
see you. You also radiating, gorgeous woman. Thank you for this invitation.
Thank you. I'm so happy to do this interview with you tonight.
Likewise.
How are you?
Do you hear me well, or should I put my headphones? Can you hear me good?
Yes. Very well.
Yes.
How are you?
Well, I am excited and ecstatic, I must say. I'm in a very beautiful place. Actually, I was feeling and thinking about you and back in 2020 when we were connecting more often and you were in Turkey still, and some of the experiences that you share with me on the Womb Bliss mentorship program. And I was like connecting to this womb hill in the background, and I'm quite close to Turkey. I'm in Greece in the North Aegean Sea. So Turkey, it was part of Turkey for some period.
Yes.
And I'm in between two seas. So I'm an island. So here in front, there's a sea. I cannot really see it from here. And then here in the back. So yeah, I'm just really enjoying this living with nature and communing with like the elements that are around and all the animals that are presenting themselves. So just really feeling that radiance of summer and the fullness and the fertility of life. Although here it's kind of desert climate a little bit, but still it's still very fertile and very busy times.
Yes,
Yeah.
I know. And we are close to the full moon as well.
Yes, and there's that too. So on Sunday, we recorded our WOW, Womb Oracle Weavers. It's a show that we've been doing. Well, not a show, but a gathering that we've been doing. And, ever since, like I was already feeling this activation from the moon and especially from the sun in Sirius that have come together on the 6th of July.
Yes.
So I've been really feeling all those light solar plasmatic activations. But Sunday was just like boom, after our circle. And yeah, I feel the building up for this really potent full moon in Capricorn.
Yes, super.
Yes.
I want just to introduce a little bit the project.
Yes.
This is a series of interviews that I do to women, and it is about inspiration. So I give a space to talk about what is inspiring our journey, because I think it is important for us to talk our story and what is directing us. And this is also inspiring, at least this is what I hope, this to be inspiring for other women. So I would like you, if you like, to just introduce yourself a little bit and tell us what you do.
Yes. Thank you. This is so beautiful and yes, inspiring. And I feel like I want to begin with sharing that I am a weaver mistress of bliss. And, that's pretty much the best way I can describe what I've been doing for the last 11, 20 many years. And so I am a womb shaman and art, psychospiritual therapist, helping women and men to connect with their bliss blueprint and activate and remember and resurrect those sacred pleasures code of our embodied matter. So, of course, this is also very personal to me, because how can you guide others if you're have not, you know, embody some of that soul radiance and embody the wisdom of your soul and alchemize the wisdom of your lineages. So that's what I've been pretty much doing in the last 2 years. I feel like intensively since 2020, which actually is quite interesting, because we are right now in this cosmic alignment of Saturn and Pluto, and it begun in January 2020. And for me, it feels really relevant because I have Sun and Moon in Capricorn, and I felt, you know, 2020 was like a really big initiation, not because of what was unfolding, but just because the leap, the quantum leap, energetically, that I feel like we enter once we enter 2020. And I felt like the tower was crumbling down in a collective way, but yet I was like feeling so much those little parts of patriarchy that lived inside of me that was crumbling like in a bigger, stronger way in the previous years in my life. So it's like, I like to say, I feel like my entire initiatory life journey has prepared me for the times that we're living right now, but I wasn't aware it was coming this big in 2020 collectively, and how much that would actually affect me personally. So yes, I'm a weaver, mistress of bliss, helping others to remember that they themselves are also mistress and misters, weavers of bliss.
Yes. For instance, I've been joined, I think, different of her offerings, and one of them was the conscious menstruations, you know, webinar. Yes, and for me, this is so much important, of course, because I think that first step for everyone, every woman as well, especially, is to get in touch again with our body, and because with our psychical nature, we are connected directly with the nature, with the psychical nature of the land. And this is how we can understand this very, very well, I think.
Yes, I agree. I would say with my work that the doorway to return for women, for us to return to our sacred pleasure of embodied matter, it's, you know, reconnecting with our menstruation and our cyclical nature, because menstruation is not only when we bleed, it's actually the entire menstrual cycle. And me and Virginia create something amazing together, the Great Lunario. I went with the Italian accent, the Great the Great Lunario. But we can talk more about that later. We actually have a live about that. So but yes, for me personally, and in my work as a soul entrepreneur, as well as a psychospiritual therapist and womb shaman, to actually really allow my cycle, you know, so I was saying before, 2020 was like this many big shifts and many, you know, falling down of different inner structures that weren't serving me any longer. But it wasn't like a 1, 2, 3 kind of thing, you know. It's been, for me, I've been in this gestational period, and I think we all are in this, you know, womb of creation, being held individually and collectively for the next birth, you know, for the next death and then rebirth. And it's so important as women, and for men as well, but let's focus here for women, because we are actually embodying the cycles of nature with menstruation and ovulation and the entire menstrual cycle. Even if you are in menopause, for women, you still are journeying with that one way or another. And to be able to live our life and especially as women do our businesses, our blissness, because I like to call my business my blissness, to do our business, our blissness in alignment to our inner cycles and the outer cycles of the cosmos and the earth. It's so potent. And to trust the moments that, you know, we go inwards, or the moments that we are less expensive, you know, and less out there. And like that, like for me, the key word is like the gestational process, to trust, even if I have that feeling, oh, I should be doing more, I should this, I should that. But then there is that inner instinctual, deeper, which is not mental, which is not part of those, you know, patriarchal paradigms that we have to produce and do and being. And, you know, in this being, as I move from Hungary, from Europe to Egypt, to Sinai, to be specific, by the Red Sea, and then being closer to nature, and even more closer now here in Greece where I am. I'm like off the grid, so just solar, you know, and like there's no grid around here. Maybe it's 1.5 kilometers to have like the electric grid. So really feeling like watching the ants walk and knowing that they are in their busy season right now. Now it's their time to build things and prepare, you know, for the darker times, for the winter. And being able to observe that in nature and commune with nature, it's such a big blessing and such a gift, and so important for to thrive at this moment, to thrive, you know, in the shifts they're undergoing collectively. Like for us to thrive, we need to return to those cycles. We need to return to nature.
Yes, I totally agree. And at this, like, we talk a lot about the body, and when we learn to listen more, the body has the answer most of the time, and it is the right one. We just need to learn how not to shut it down, because the body knows what is right for us. It's perceived energies that our mind cannot understand, but we can feel it. And feeling as well is a way of thinking, as Susan Sontag used to say.
Yes, 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 yes. Big yes.
So I would like to ask if there is something that you are working on in this particular moment that you would like to share with us and you like to talk about.
Yes, there's so many beautiful things that are, you know, connected in this beautiful tapestry, that it's part of this rebirth that I've been talking here, you know, that I feel like happened in a big way, personally for me, and also for my blissness that it's involved, you know, involves with where I'm at. So yeah, so I'm like rebirthing. I've been rebirthing my blissness, womb bliss. So I've been working on the website, and I have like very exciting programs coming soon. I said, actually, I was like, oh, am I going to share this now? Yes or no? But I said the yes. I said a big yes to something that I've been longing and desiring for quite some time, which is, besides being part of a book and being an international multi-author bestseller, but it's not out the book yet. But more so, I said yes to sharing my story in like this bigger way, you know, and like trusting my voice, trusting the, you know, the voice of my heart womb and what it feels important to share right now. And again, this is just so connected to everything that in this last 2 years unfolded in my life. And part of that, I must say, was like, I feel like important as well, was to embrace my gray hair. You know, that has been like phenomenal. Yeah. You know about this journey, but that started in September 2020 with the light here.
I love them. They are so nice.
Yeah, so it's just been such a powerful journey of like embracing an aspect of myself that unconsciously I was like hiding and suppressing. And I'm not going to elaborate so much into that, but basically, yes, very exciting projects. We have the Magdalene portal. That's going to be a journey that it's coming soon that I'll be sharing in my Instagram. And then, of course, the book, it's called Magdalene Codes, Divine Feminine Frequency Keepers that Disrupt and Liberate.
Wow.
Yes. So, and that would be out September
Okay.
23rd, I believe. So yeah, a lot of projects happening, but all related to, yes, to this radiance, this feminine radiance, that the solar feminine that I feel it's calling forward right now, you know, like reclaiming, resurrecting the sacred pleasure of our embodied matter. And then, of course, yeah, this is a big invitation from life, from the earth, from the cosmos, for us to really embody our divinity, embody our soul radiance, and then inspire others to do the same, you know, just and I love it, the fact that we can inspire others with our programs, if we are, you know, mentoring or psychospiritual therapists or writers or artists, but we can also inspire simply by being ourselves, simply by walking around and knowing, you know, knowing, as you mentioned, like remembering how to listen to the body, remembering how to listen to nature. And just that alone changes our entire auric field, our entire wiring of our body, of how we do things. And that influences the surrounding, because we are vibration and we are constantly vibrating. When we are thinking something, we are not only thinking, we're thinking, we're feeling, and we are emanating. So, you know, during this epic, weird, intense times of quantum transformation, to emanate out, you know, your soul essence, your embodied soul essence, is the biggest gift that we can give to the earth, to humanity.
Yes, sure. And I just wanted to note a little detail that, which seems detail, but I think it's great, which when we talk with women that are in a journey, and they are mostly free women, we really like to take the word and to turn them into what it is more likely to us. For example, blissness, like you called. I mean, we do this often. I mean, I talked with a lot of women, and the word is important. Like it seems like the simple steps that we can do in our daily life, even just, you know, changing a small letter, changing a word, this is, you know, a small step which actually embrace a bigger change, I think.
Yes, I agree. I agree. And, you know, I feel like to mention what you said from the beginning, which is returning to understanding our menstrual cycle. And this is like a great way to begin descending to the body as women, you know, like maybe you know, you feel the pain. Like I always say to my clients and students, like when you have pain during your menstrual cycle, most of the time, with some exceptions, but most of the time when you really struggle with your cycle, is really your womb calling you back home, you know, back to your cyclical nature. And I've been free bleeding for many, many years, but, you know, I think I can say for the last 4 years, you know, most of my cycles I free bleed, and I give the space, I give the time for myself to bleed. And that has shifted so much in my life. Of course, there are many other things that I've been doing for years, but just to, you know, allow myself to be for those 1 or 2 days, and allow myself to be in touch with my blood. But just if you give yourself space to be in the first day of your cycle, and don't if it's possible in your life, and not put many tasks or things to do. If you actually take off from work, you don't cook, you don't clean, and you just allow yourself to just be and feel, that can shift so much. That can catalyze such a big shift in a woman's life, you know, and just, yeah, giving space for that release, for that letting go.
Yeah. And really, what I like, I just say this and then we can go further question, but what I really like, that to embrace change and to start something big. What we need is a small step, like simple and easy. And, you know, we don't need to do something enormous, because this is coming after we start to change from inside.
Yes, yes. And, you know, I can never cease to say, like, coming back to the body is also coming back to nature. It's coming back to the body of the earth, you know. So spending time in nature, spending time, but consciously spending time, you know, like giving yourself opportunity to feel the nature, to feel the elements around you. Even if you live in a big city, you can always go to a park and feel a tree and recharge. Like, this is such a powerful, simple practice to start your day, and maybe go outside in your balcony or in your garden and greet the sun, and like take a breath of the sun and feel that warmth, that breath in your body, and then open yourself for that flow of life, for gratitude. And then, you know, begin your day. And every time you find yourself, of course, you know, life has its challenges. We have to deal with people. There are many things that can unfold during our day that can be triggers, etc. But if we're conscious that there is a flow, a creative flow, a divine flow, that it's always permeating, and I like to call that bliss, you know, like there's always permeating. You can always return to that. And then that trigger, that situation can be alchemized. You know, of course, that requires some skills to be able to do it quickly. But, you know, still it's possible. You can alchemize it in some days, in some weeks, but you can alchemize what is ready to support you on this journey of remembering and returning to the body.
Yes.
Returning to the
Yes.
matter.
Exactly. And yes, even I like to think, even when we just walk in the street, even if we know that there is cemento and there is, but we are walking still on Mother Earth, and our roots are going deep down. They go over the beton, how is called, the cemento. They go
The
over
cement,
the cement,
cement, yes,
the
yes,
streets,
the
and we
asphalt,
reach
yes, yes,
we can pass the asphalt, and we can be connected even if we are not directly connected.
yeah, exactly, exactly. Actually, we were talking about this the other day with a friend of my beloved, and you know, it said that the shoes that we wear, right, because it's rubber, it might prevent us to connecting with the electromagnetic field of the earth and etc. But I just so love what you said, because the truth, and that's what we were speaking about, it doesn't matter if your mind knows. It doesn't matter. You can be walking on asphalt, and as you said, and I had this beautiful vision, you know, like of the roots cracking, you know, the asphalt,
Yes.
the cement, and just like the, you know, the plants
Yeah.
crack, you know, like come out from the
Exactly. The
asphalt and
plants,
the
they are
cement.
stronger than
Yes, you
asphalt.
know, and it's like that. Yeah, that strength of nature, that it's not only outside, but it's also inside of our nature. And you can be in the concrete jungle. You know, I've been 9 years in New York in the concrete jungle, and
Yeah.
somehow I still manage, you know, to commune with nature, to return to my nature. Now I couldn't live in a city, you know, like New York. Like I would
Yeah.
die
Yeah. Yeah.
before. But you know, we can thrive. We can you know, as I was writing today, I feel like maybe I can share this. It feels important. It's like when we choose and decide to follow our bliss, to follow what brings us into a state of wholeness, in a state of unity with the creative flow of life, when we choose to follow that, follow what brings that joy to us, we're gonna face what stands on the way of that, you know, as the beginning of the journey. And I feel like after I'm really contemplating this 8-year cycle that I've been through as well, and then this 11-year cycle, and I like to look at cycles very much linear sometimes, but from a place of understanding where I am, you know, in the cycle right now, from this more spiral point of view. And yeah, so like going after what brings you joy, knowing that that radiates out, knowing that whatever you walk, you're like in, you know, inviting literally energetically and in electromagnetic speaking others to reconnect with that as well. And you know, but maybe on the way of that, and I feel like I feel important to mention that because this is a very, very super potent full moon, and it might be very, very triggering to many, many people, and then the energies are going to continue to intensify as we approach the Lioness Gate on 8th of August, and you know, then we have eclipses on September. So the energy is going to keep quickening, keep intensifying. So to know that when we choose to come back to that state of wholeness, unity, this connection with the creative flow of life, what I also call the womb consciousness field, through following our bliss, through reconnecting with our bliss instinct in the body, we will crack that asphalt, you know, we will crack those, we will melt. I rather use melt. We will melt anything that it's still standing on the way of our embodied bliss, our embodied matter.
Yeah. And so let's inspiration, it's our way to go through this, because it's somehow something that has happened and we don't really know how. For example, what does inspire you? And if there are women that inspired you in your journey, can you explain us a little bit of this?
Yeah, so I think I share so much of what inspires me. So nature inspires me, you know, like, and nature means everything from trees to ants. Mosquitoes and flies don't really inspire me, but they trigger me. So they invite me to come into my power, to say, no, you're not welcome here because you bite me and you suck my blood. But yes, nature, the mystery of life inspires me so much. And although I do like to read, and you know, I love ancient mysteries, but yeah, more than ever in the last, you know, 8 years of my life, this communion with nature and the elements really inspires me. And the animals they teach me so much as well. And yes, women that have inspired me in my journey, one that comes to mind very strongly, it's my mentor and teacher, Sarah Bertrand, you know, the writer, the co-writer and founder of the body of work of Womb Awakening. She's an amazing inspiration to me. My mom, it's also like a big inspiration, especially because of everything she's been through, and she has always chosen to stay in love, you know, in radiating her beautiful soul essence despite of all the shit she's been through, and like how forgiving and and like soft, you know, in many ways she is. And then it comes to mind here, beautiful, my blissness partner, Diana Cluth. I mean, there's so many women like you inspire me as well.
Thank you.
And so the list can go very long. So many inspiration. Great mother also. I mean, this is a like the ancient women that were, you know, like here, I forgot to say this, you know, I'm diving into the mysteries of the Amazonian women, so the Amazons from the Greek mythology, and trying to understand from a more deeper the knowledge, because they're very present here in this land, this island, in Limnos Island. It says that it was the Amazonian island. So trying to understand and get inspiration, because I feel, of course, there's a patriarchal, distorted version of them if you go researching. And I feel there's much more to that. They were just matriarchal cultures where women were, equally strong to men, and they were warriors, not because they wanted to conquer and divide. They were warriors because they were holding strongly the great mysteries of womb alchemy and ancient mother. So yeah, my inspiration goes from from many places.
Yes, yes. This was beautiful. I really, really loved. Actually, I think, at least personally, the whole interview was such a great source of inspiration from the beginning. Just see how, radiating and enlightened you are in the hamaca. Thank you very much.
Thank you, my dear. Thank you so much for this, invitation. And yeah, it's so lovely to see you, and it's so lovely to be in this container here with you. And yeah, and to share this radiance, like the sun is here, and yeah, and just like feeling how it's through the cracks, through the rip of the traumas that we go through, that the light of our soul, the radiance of our soul can burst out, and I feel like this is the cycle I'm in right now. It's just like deeply feeling all those alchemical process, like transformations that I've been through in the last 17 years of my life, if not longer. But so thank you for that. Thank you for the invitation.
Thank you for coming. I told you I was so happy to have this with you.
Yes.
And yes.
Yes. Thank you for also inspiring others through these inspirational talks. I love it. And till next time.
Till next time. Yes. It was, again, it was nice to see you.
Thank you. Mwah. Full moon blessings.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye. This was the 12th episode of Inspiration Talks, the first one we did in English. If you want to leave your comments or feedback, you can do under here, and me or Nicole will reply. And this will be available in my profile. If you don't see it in my grid, it is in the saved live. And it will be also in my YouTube channel. See you soon, and have a great evening.